If you look at the headlines as of late, it'll be a pause for concern. The economy conversations and consumer sentiments being possibly at an all time low. Can you share some of the things that are in the current environment that might be helping the industry and others that might be hurting the industry?
Absolutely. You do bring up a very valid point that consumer confidence, generally speaking, is at an all time low. But if you think about it, the stock market is at an all time high, right? So that's a real dichotomy. I hesitate to use the term, but we hear it all the time about the K shaped economy. And that really goes to the heart of what you've asked. The wealthy are getting wealthier, and the middle class and below are having a challenge. And so the consumer confidence index embraces, all economic spheres. We all know that luxury is doing phenomenally well at one end of the spectrum, right? And at the other end of the spectrum, the economy is not doing that well. Uh, so it's a bifurcated market. There's no question about that. And listen, at the end of the day, if you think about hotels, they lease up guest rooms every single night. And with technology being what it is, pricing for room rates changes by the second. And because of that phenomenon, the hotel industry is very sensitive to outside forces. And so if you think back to January 1st, 2020, and compare and contrast to April 1st, 2020, we were already into COVID, right? The world looked very different. No different than 9/11, right? On September 10th, the world looked very different than on September 12th. And so there's a lot of volatility within the sector. There's no question about that. When you're dealing with full service hotels, resorts, large, larger type properties, you end up having revenues from putting heads in beds, but then also revenues from food, beverage, recreational amenities, retail, what have you. And then if you think about the expense departments associated with all those varied income streams, the hotel business is a very complicated business that is constantly changing. And your points are well taken that confidence is quite low, consumer confidence. The economy, I mean, it depends on who you ask, what's happening with the economy. But generally speaking, if you think about what's going on in the hotel industry, it's in pretty good shape, generally speaking, right? Some markets are winners, some markets are losers. Even within markets, sub markets are very important. But it is quite remarkable. The industry is resilient. It's another term that gets used all the time, but it's true. It's very resilient and just seems to. I mean, if I look back on my lifetime at all the calamities, whether it be COVID, 9/11, the Gulf War. I mean, it just goes on. The stock market crash in '87, right? There've been many of these. Oh my God, the world's coming to an end moments, which is not good for the hotel business for a period of time. But then it always comes back bigger and better. It just, I don't know. It happens every time.